Welcome to All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian fishing podcast hosted by Rhodey and Diz. The boys will share their tall tales of the one that got away, as well as some regular segments they know all you fishing tragics will enjoy.
G'day and welcome to episode 55 of All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian fishing podcast. Diz, how are you, mate?
Good, mate. Good. Glad to be here with you. Late podcast edition.
Yes, Diz. We're just getting one in just before Easter.
Yes, very good.
Big fishing
Very
time
good
of year.
form. Yes, and a very good guest coming on later, Rhodey. We met Barry at the fishing showcase.
We did. Barry Brown. He's the chairperson of RecFish SA, Diz. So he's well worth a chat, well worth a listen to.
Yeah, and he was very keen to come on the podcast, and we certainly look forward to hearing from him because there's been a few chops and changes within government, and maybe RecFish become a bit of a peak body that we need to keep our eye on.
Well, look, Diz, I won't sort of tell the people what I don't know, but it sounds to me like RecFish has taken over MRFAC, but we'll confirm that or ask Barry about that anyway, Diz.
Yes, we will. Rhodey, let's get into oranges and lemons before we get underway for today's episode. So tell the guys and girls out there what your orange has been of the fortnight.
Look, Diz, it's an easy one for me. We did go over Yorke Peninsula last weekend, and I'm not sure you can get the bag of white in 2 days in a row and not make that your orange.
Yeah, good call. Very successful couple of days fishing, and great weekend. Weather played the game. It was a glorious day on Saturday.
And we'll go into that a little bit more detail in the fishing report, Diz, but I suppose it's also good to cover some new territory.
Yeah, it was. It was great to get down there at Stansbury.
We got I think your dad did some sort of dodgy deal with a mate to get a few marks.
Yeah, it was like doing a deal with the devil. But they came up trumps actually. We had to move around a bit for it.
Yeah, but they were good size too.
They were, yes. Yeah, no, it was good when you joined the big boys club after you just had to stretch a few to get them to 32.
Certainly was quantity over quality on the Saturday at Black Point. But, catching 15 out of 20 is not too bad.
Fair enough.
All right, Diz, what's your orange?
Yeah, look, the mask mandate ending has been welcomed relief for a lot.
Yes.
And geez, it's good.
Oh, mate, we've been hanging out for this.
I still got to wear a mask at work, as I'm sure you do.
I think I'll be in a mask at work for the next 37 years. but let's not go there, Diz.
But very, pleasing, and I can't see that just drastically shooting the numbers up, can you? We're no public health experts.
Oh, look, Diz, it's sort of getting to the point where the numbers are irrelevant, aren't they?
Who knows, who cares? But also, really, I'd just like to throw in there because, of course, the mask mandate does coincide with roughly the Easter weekend, and we've got some public holidays coming up, so be sure to get out there and catch some fish or do some fishing over the long weekend.
Are you pulling the double orange on us?
Double orange.
Don't be too positive,
It was like
mate.
It was an orange that fell into a secondary orange.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Brody, give us your lemon. What's been the sour note?
Look, we will also touch on this a bit later on in the fishing report, but I did have a bit of a crack at Victor 2 weekends ago and pulled a donut on the tuna.
Have you put the cue in the rack?
And I have put the cue in the rack. I've called this tuna season, certainly for us. I'm sure they are still out there, but you're going to have to work for them. Yeah. I'm calling it tuna season over for our boat.
Bang.
And I'm going to call it a bit of a fail of a season.
Yeah, well, look, I'm just trying to think whether I caught one.
Don't know if you did.
Oh, bleak.
We caught a few fish. We also had a few donut days. And while we, regularly went out and got you one or two, we didn't have a day like, remember that day at Marion Bay last year where we pulled in 20 fish?
Yeah, that was awesome.
We didn't have a dynamite day.
No, we didn't. And look, a number of reasons why we weren't able to venture out as far as we would have liked to for the tuna season.
Are we calling two babies? Primary reason number one, or
Marshall opening the borders really screwed things up at work.
Yeah.
You know, just a few things got in our way. Not that we like Sydney coming up with excuses, but there were a few things that got in our way.
Yeah, look, Diz, I'll give you that.
Okay, Brody, my lemon has been that, and again, something we're going to touch on later in the report, but for those of you who follow on with the socials, we managed to get onto a nice snapper at one of those drops that Davo got for us.
Yeah, and we weren't obviously targeting snapper, but it wasn't the sort of ground that you expect to pull snapper from.
No, but having said that, we have spoken to a few friends who do quite a bit of whiting fishing, and they've noticed that they've from time to time pulled up snapper at some of their drops, which has been a good sign.
So tell me, Diz, was this a lemon or an orange? Are we saying the snapper here or not here?
Well, the lemon, of course, is having to throw it back.
Yes,
Brody,
okay.
and
It would have been a really good pan size.
It would have been a really good
size
panny.
snapper.
A nice knock a couple of fillets off.
Yeah.
Maybe panko crumb it or something.
Yeah.
It would have been really good.
Yeah.
So the lemon aspect, of course, is that it had to go back and that there's still a good 12 months.
Yeah, it's a long time still in it.
We're getting stuck into it.
And look, I'm going to say believe it when you see it. Do we think there's, are we positive it's going to come to an end in 12 months? Or?
Interesting.
We'll see, won't we?
Yes.
All right, Diz, should we keep moving?
We should, Roddy. Let's get stuck into a bit of a merch update.
Yeah, Diz, we're working through the winter range. We're looking at some jumpers, maybe some beanies. We'll just have a look. We're working through our options.
Okay, yes. Yeah, well, I like the beanie idea.
But look, we're just looking at what we could do this season. So keep your ears to the ground. And if you've got any feedback, anything you'd like, please hit us up.
Yeah.
In the meantime, there are still stubbies and caps available.
Yeah, the grey caps are an absolute hit.
They are, Diz, and they look good. They even make your head look semi-respectable.
They're great. I love those. I love the grey hats, and it's good because now sort of we can rock up to events without looking like flogs matching kits, and we can have different coloured hats on and that sort of thing. So it's positive news all around.
It's certainly a good talking point anyway, Diz.
Right, already. Let's get stuck into the news because there's a bit to get through here before we get Barry on, and of course we finish with the report and tackle item of the week. But it would be very, very silly of us to not talk about one of the iconic Easter fishing comps at Hardwicke Bay coming up over the next few days.
Yeah, so it's Easter Sunday, Diz, the 17th of April.
Yep.
Online entries. I'm looking here on the Hardwicke Bay Facebook page. They've got all the links up.
Yep.
And lots of prizes. So it says here, if you've got a family of 5, just ask for the code to get it all for $40.
Oh,
so that's pretty good for a family ticket, Diz. And there's a number of categories with lots of local sponsors. We won't run through them all in terms of the sponsors, but there's raffles. There's some kids raffles. They all get a squid jig for the first 40 that enter. And some different prizes. But there's a whiting category, a casting comp, garfish, snook, squid, leather jacket, and Tommy Ruff. And each of them has a total value of $175 in prizes. $100 for first, 50 for second, 25 for third.
not bad.
So if you went and you really cleaned up on multiple species, in a big way, it could be a profitable sort of day.
It could be. You just got to go in there and get the mixed bag.
I know
I wonder if anyone's ever done the clean sweep.
I don't know,
Got them all.
Do you reckon we could spin this to the girls as a money-making scam? We could call this work again.
We could call this work. We could actually claim some tax deductions. The Putin tax on petrol costs us nothing to get over there. I wonder how many people they get participate. Is there any stats on that?
Nah, I don't have the numbers on that, Diz. I'm not that smart.
Well, anyway, we'll be able to follow along and watch the comp unfold. And they've, I think, been a while since I've looked at the weather, but it was looking good early doors.
I think it's certainly looking good in terms of wind.
Yeah. So very pleasing. We hope everybody who participates in that has a successful weekend, and I'll be keeping my eye nice and close on the largest leather jacket prize. Oh,
you know what you're flat about? No Silver Trevally comp.
Well, that'd be a no-brainer. That'd be the Dizzy Gillespie Memorial bloody Silver Trevally Maybe I should get Dan. Dan's really good at coming up with trophies.
He can make you a little engraved
He's
one.
got a trophy. Yeah, he's got a trophy maker.
All right, Diz, let's keep moving. This was something we shared on the Facebook the other day, Diz. It was a good video from over Port Lincoln. I think it was Sleaford Bay, maybe, Diz.
Yeah, okay.
And it was a big school of Australian salmon.
Yeah.
Just getting munched up by some bronzies.
And the sharks just smashing them.
Yeah, it was a bloody good video. I think it made the Channel 7 news, I think the link was from.
Yeah, it's definitely doing the rounds on the news.
But yeah, it was pretty impressive footage. And I know it's nothing too out of the ordinary, sharks hitting up a school of salmon, but good footage.
Yeah, and that's a great thing about drones, isn't it?
Oh, look, would have been bloody hard to get that back in the day.
That's right, and you get some phenomenal footage.
Nah,
Of those big, like football-sized schools of salmon. The sharks will be having a field.
And they'll just get bigger and bigger over on the west coast from here, Diz, and we're coming into that sort of time of year, that winter months. The Australian Salmon Comp in, I think that's Elliston.
Yes,
Will be coming around shortly, so
Yep, absolutely.
keep an eye on that.
Yeah, excellent. All right, Brody, let's we're diving in a bit sort of we're going to get into a bit of a cocaine bust.
Yeah, we're getting into crime stories here,
We're
Diz.
getting into crime story.
But it does
This
have
is
a
like
fishing
Tracy
sort of...
Grimshaw sort of
It does have a
stuff
fishing
here.
flair to it.
It does have a bit of a fishing flair because there was a big cocaine bust out off some of the pristine waters in Althorpes. A couple of people saw some sort
Some
of
flotation devices.
dodgy looking flotation devices and alerted the authorities, and hey presto, they've uncovered the biggest cocaine bust in Australia.
I think it was South Australian, but you could be wrong.
Goodness gracious.
Anyway,
me.
this quote here, the Australian Federal Police says the amount is equivalent to almost half of the cocaine seized across Australia last year.
Goodness
And
me.
that's one hit.
So I think as the story goes...
Largest amount of cocaine ever detected in South Australia with a street value of upwards of 250 mil. It weighed 416 kilos.
Unbelievable.
So it's good
So
going.
I think as the story goes, there was a sort of a cargo ship that was going past these waters that got slung off the edge.
Yeah, so it's the Cyprus registered cargo vessel, the Kypros Bravery.
Okay, and that was basically travelling through those waters, and a few people as part of this drug ring slung the cocaine off the edge.
Yep.
And then the next step was for a boat to go out off these waters and locate that said cocaine.
Yep.
And then bring it back to the shores for distribution to Loverboy nightclub, etc.
And I think that's where they've gone wrong, Diz.
Yes, and
Because hold on, if we were planning not that we're into this, but if we were smuggling cocaine, what would be the first thing you'd do?
I don't know. I wouldn't know where to start.
I'd make sure you got a full tank of fuel
Yeah,
because they ran out of fuel.
you would not want to run out of fuel. Mind you, fuel's expensive,
Yeah,
so
well,
sure,
fair.
you might have 250 mil of cocaine, but you're not getting that money till you've sold it.
So the volunteer Coast Guard members confirmed they had rescued a small boat that had run out of fuel in Investigator Strait near Kangaroo Island on the same day the cocaine was seized.
Yes. Well, there you have it.
So anyway, we'd been focused on the last bit of this operation since the middle of March, said Assistant Commissioner Harvey.
Yes.
We weren't there by accident.
Okay.
So they knew what was what.
They knew what was going on.
And they've said this is common practice for global drug trafficking networks to rely on airports and container ships.
Yeah, okay. Interesting.
And I think there were 4 Filipino crew members were charged with drug importation and today appeared in the Port Adelaide Magistrates Court.
Okay.
Today being a couple of weeks ago.
Okay. Well, interesting. But yeah, no, anyway, let's move on from sort of today, tonight special stories.
Look, they were fishing, sort of.
They were. But while we're over on the Yorke Peninsula, Roadie, and certainly a charter operator that would know those waters exceptionally well, Reef Encounters Fishing Charters, we've spoken with the owner on the show. Lovely guy, really into his jigging.
Yes.
And they're looking, Roadie, aren't they?
Yeah, look, if anyone from work's listening and I don't rock up next week, I've found a new job.
Well,
they're after a decky, Diz.
they are. They're after a decky, and this just does sound like you. Willingness to learn, keen attention to detail, optimistic approach to work, and basically they're gonna provide a great working environment in return.
And so if
Let's
that's
hope you don't get seasick.
get in contact. I suppose my problem is I might start, not having a willingness to learn and start telling them what to do. And
Oh dear, too good.
Anyway,
Good.
that'd be a good job if you are looking for that sort of work, Diz.
Yes, absolutely. All right, Rody. Well, that's there's a fair bit in that.
Yeah, look, we covered all sorts there.
We did. We sort of chopped and changed, but
Yeah, nice little happy Easter story and then
Nice.
a cocaine bust.
nice little juicy news section before we get Barry from RecFish on. Rody, let's get him on the line.
All right, Diz, we are joined here today by Barry, the chairman of RecFish. Barry, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for the opportunity.
Excellent. Thanks for coming on the show, Barry. We very much look forward to hearing what you've been up to, what RecFish has been up to, and everything else. But first, let's get stuck into our questions, Rody. So why don't you get us underway?
Diz, I will. Barry, we're going to ask you some general fishing stuff, and that starts with telling us about your best fish.
Okay, so my best fish would have been a 40-pound mulloway on a lure at the Murray Mouth. So
It's good
that
going.
was pretty exciting.
I bet.
So that was a memorable day.
And tell us about it, Barry. How long ago? Was it on bait? What were you doing?
So we're wading out on the sandbars at the Murray Mouth.
Yeah.
So probably 500 metres offshore and casting metal lures or a metal lure into the channel itself, and managed to hook up to and bring in a very large mulloway. So that was, very memorable.
Oh, I bet. That would have been really exciting. Barry, tell us your favourite thing about fishing.
Yeah, I like all aspects of it, but I think the part I'll enjoy most is lure fishing off of beaches for salmon and that sort of thing.
Okay.
That's really exciting. You never quite know what's going to happen there. I think the favourite thing about fishing in general is just when you get a big strike and suddenly there's action everywhere. That happens with fishing in the surf for sharks and salmon. It happens out in the boat trolling for tuna. So they're the things that I like doing.
Yes, very good, Barry. Now tell us about your first fishing memory or what got you into it.
Yeah, interesting. A friend of mine had been trying to persuade me to go fishing for ages, and I kept resisting. In the end, I said, yeah, all right. So we went to Waipinga Beach down the bottom of Yorke Peninsula, and all that he had were little jetty rods and little reels. So we were mucking around there for a while and nothing happening.
Yeah.
We started to pack up, and this guy came and stood right next to us with a surf rod and reel and a lure and started luring and catching salmon. So my mate ran back to the car, no easy job on Waipinga Beach,
Yeah.
and found some rusty old lures. So we put them on and throwing them out with our little jetty rods. We ended up hooking some salmon and getting busted off. And that was it. I was hooked. The next day I was at the tackle shop buying a surf rod and a surf reel.
I was going to say the rest is history. It's normally that first, you can always remember that first trip and then away you go.
That's it. You get hooked.
That's exactly right. And so, Barry, you've probably answered this for us. Can we guess your favourite sort of fishing? Is it flicking lures down at the surf or?
Yes, I reckon that's the one I enjoy most. And surf fishing in general. Boat fishing is good as well, but that's probably the favourite one.
Yeah, and Barry, tell us your funniest fishing story or tell us about one that got away.
Okay, so mate and I decided to go and fish in the Coorong in his boat.
Yeah.
His boat was a rather old job, vintage job, like when we buy our first boat, you buy whatever you can afford. So we took the boat out and we were in the Coorong and the steering fouled up. So all we could do was go in circles. And come out and invade the boat while we were doing circle work. So that was a lot of fun. And then coming back, the motor decided to conk, and we walked it across, I think, 3 kilometres of mud flats. So, so that's probably the most memorable trip I've had.
And did the bees follow you, Barry?
Yeah, they did.
Nobody was allergic to bees or anything like that?
Sorry?
Nobody was allergic to bees or anything like that? Because that wouldn't have been a good ending to the story.
Yeah, no. Fortunately, we survived that. It certainly made for an interesting trip.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Barry. Well, thank you for answering those 5 questions. Let's get into a bit more depth into your role. And we have had some people from RecFish on the show in the past, so we do know a little bit about RecFish, but please, from your perspective, tell us about how you got involved and ended up as, in your now role as the chairman.
Sure. Okay, so I'll give you a bit of my background first of all. There were groups called recreational fishing committees at one stage, and there were a couple in Adelaide and then in most of the major regional centres on the coast. And I was chair of the Yorke Peninsula RFC, which is based at Victor Harbour. And part of that meant I was also on the executive for what was called SARFAC at that time, South Australian Recreational Fishing Advisory Committee. And then ended up going into state for a while. And so recently, back in November, when I saw about RecFish SA, I thought, that sounds interesting. So I went along to the AGM and was elected to the board. Yeah. And then more recently asked to take on the role of chair there. So I've had some background in rec fishing projects, etc. One of the main things we did with the RFC was the rebuilding of Rapid Bay Jetty, for example.
Oh, yeah, righto.
So the government wanted to just shut it down, and we were fortunate enough to persuade them that they should build an alternate structure instead. Yeah. And so that was good. So, yes, I had quite a bit of involvement there, and, ended up becoming chair of RecFish SA now.
I'm sure there's plenty of people are happy that you saved the old got the new Rapid Bay Jetty, I suppose. That's been a great thing.
Yeah, no, we were really pleased at the time. It was a lot, as always, a lot of work to go into it, but the result was terrific.
Absolutely, that's really good. And one thing, Barry, I did really want to talk to you about is sort of the fish stocking element of RecFish. What's on the horizon? We had a chat with some guys a few weeks ago at the showcase about how successful the Aruna Dam has been. So can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so RecFish SA was responsible for stocking a number of reservoirs, including Aruna Dam, Baruta, Warren Reservoir, etc. Yeah. And they've all been really successful. As you might have been advised with that previous interview, the guys went and did a survey of the fish stocks at Aruna, and we're really pleased with the number of very healthy gold perch and Murray cod that were around, so that the stocking has worked quite well. And we're keen to continue to be involved in stocking reservoirs and keen to work in with SA Water now that they have developed Myponga and Happy Valley for that purpose.
Yeah, no, that'd be really good, Barry, if that can continue to grow. And we've seen some plans. I know there was some trout put in Happy Valley recently, and it's great that they're making these accessible. And it'd be really good if you guys have a bit of a say and plenty of involvement in that.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of experience in that area, obviously. Yeah. And so it's an area that we're more than keen to B, provide the assistance and coordination, all that goes with it. And there's also stocking of marine species like snapper, for example, kingfish, etc. So there's a whole broad scope of work in terms of stock replenishment and nurseries and all that goes with that.
Yeah, fantastic. No, we certainly look forward to seeing what's on the horizon with regards to fish stocking, and we've been enjoying what's been on offer down at Happy Valley, and I know that a lot of other recs are really, it might be the only thing that they do, and so it's great that can be stocked so that they can have a successful outing. And I guess leading on from that, are you optimistic about sort of rec fishing, maybe with the new government's involvement in terms of the stocking programs and the likes, or do you think that there might be some sort of empty promises, or what's your thoughts on that?
We're very pleased that the new Labor government has said that they view RecFish SA as the peak body, and that they're allocating funding for that as well. So that's really good, a really good indication. And they're still getting their heads around what's involved with all the different aspects, obviously, of rec fishing. But they've been willing to talk to us, which is great. Yeah. And looking at how we can work together. I mean, their own policy document that they put out specifically mentioned things like having an independent voice for rec fishing with RecFish SA, as I mentioned, recognising rec fishing as an activity in the sport and recreation sector, which we spoke about before. They said they want to invest in infrastructure, so that's great news. Obviously, we're very keen to see development of boat ramps, jetties, and other access points for fishing. It's certainly an area that needs considerable attention in South Australia. The jetties don't get the funding that they need and are often left to councils to try to keep them in good condition. And I think our boat ramps could be a lot better than what they are currently as well.
Yeah,
so
and
there's
Barry,
really good scope there.
Yeah, and you talked about some funding that RecFish SA sort of got promised, I suppose, as a part of the election. What will that money go towards?
So we would be looking to use that to promote just those very things that we've been talking about. So looking at how to best use the funding in terms of infrastructure, stocking, access, allocation, and education as well. One of our key roles we see is communicating with rec fishermen, finding out what they're keen on and what they want to see happening, and then liaising with government to see if we can make that happen.
Yeah, and that was 200 grand, was it, Barry?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, and that'll sort of be used, like, just sort of interpreting what you're saying, to make you guys really the, I suppose, the middleman between the average fisher and, helping the government to determine where other money should be spent. Is that sort of what you're saying?
Yes. So you're right. We've got a dual role in a way, haven't we? One role is to represent recreational fishers back to the government when it comes to policy making and so on, and the other one is keeping rec fishers informed and trying to provide the best possible fishing opportunities for everyone, women, children, different groups, it's across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose I guess we're going to see a different approach to the Liberal government in terms of that they use the MRFAC, which is now gone.
I don't know what's happened with the MRFAC at this stage. I don't think there's been a determination of that, but certainly we've been nominated as the peak body, and it's been recognised that funding will be provided for doing that.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like that to us, Barry, but obviously you're in a position where you can't sort of say things like that, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So, that's certainly the indication at this stage.
Yeah. And Barry, another thing that we were interested in that's been a bit of a toing and froing over the last couple of years, and there's been a big push from rec physios to get fishing considered as a sport. Do you know where that stands now? And I think the Labor had made a statement on that. And
so as I mentioned before, part of their policy is recognising recreational fishing as an activity in the sport and recreation sector.
Yeah.
And certainly the Minister for Recreation, Sport and Fishing, Katrina Hildyard, was at that meeting that I referred to before. So it looks like they're proceeding along that line of seeing it viewed that way. And that means that fishing groups and clubs can apply for grants through local, state and federal government. So that's good news.
Yeah, it's fantastic news. And I know that Minister Hildyard's been quite involved in the O'Sullivan's Beach boat ramp along with Chris Picton. So with any luck, the Labor government will deliver on some of these things that a lot of us recreational fishing people and naturally yourself as being part of the peak body are so dearly crying out for, given that we know how much of an enjoyed pastime is and how much it delivers for the state.
Yeah, well, something like O'Sullivan's Beach boat ramp is critical. They were talking allocating $1 million to it, but we certainly need much better boating facilities. I mean, the previous government did a bit of work on the West Beach boat ramp, but it's still not optimal by any stretch of the imagination. Wirriner needs work, Cape Jarvis needs work, Victor Harbour needs work. So there's plenty of work to be done on that front for sure.
And Barry, is there a plan going forwards? Will you liaise regularly with the government? Will they come along to one of the ministers come to your RecFish meetings, or how's that? Do you know how it's going to work going forwards?
Not yet. That's why we opened the conversation with them.
Yeah.
We wanted to say, look, let's work out how we're going to work together, and the next step is to meet again with the government and work out exactly that. What's the method of liaison between the parties and that sort of thing. And certainly, we'd like to see the government representative able to attend the odd board meeting if they wish to do so. But the key is to have an effective formal feedback mechanism.
And Barry, it sounds like the way the government's split up their sort of portfolios, it's not just going to be one minister that you're, closely working with?
Yes, that's certainly the impression that we've got at the moment. So we've got a meeting coming up next week to sort of map out where RecFish SA, or more importantly, RecFishing, interacts with the different government departments. Because when you think about it, we don't just intersect with PIRSA or recreation and sport. We also impact on tourism. We also impact on environment and water. Yeah. So we sort of see that there's quite a few touch points there that we want to work through.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it'll be very interesting to see where things go, Barry. We certainly enjoy, being in touch with you over the coming months to understand where that lies, and we look forward to seeing what that relationship between government and the peak bodies in RecFish is going to be. Before we sort of finish up with you, Barry, I was going to ask, there's been a huge amount of discussion over, I imagine, a very long period of time about fishing licences, and we understand that the Labor government have said that they won't be introducing a fishing licence, but all of that aside, what do you think is impeding South Australia's ability to be maybe recognised as the pinnacle of rec fishing across the nation?
Are you saying in terms of recognising the value of a rec fishing licence? Is that what you mean?
Well, just whether it is a licence or whether it's our relationship with government, or we see. I guess you see a lot of what happens in Victoria around how well they manage their fishery, and I'm sure there's challenges over there as well. But could you put your finger on something? Do you think that might improve rec fishing in our state dramatically?
Look, I certainly think. There's a number of things that are working towards that at the moment. The board at the moment, the current RecFish SA board, is very much focused on achieving exactly that, being very clear about what we want to be able to do and very clear about communicating with the government and with the rec fishing community. So funding is obviously the critical factor. We just spoke about all the things that would be nice to fix up.
Yeah.
And so you're right, part of that discussion becomes things like a rec fishing licence, etc. And there's a fair bit of mistrust, I guess, that money going to a rec fishing licence won't go into rec fishing investment. And I think that's always been the hold up for that to proceed much further. Yet it's evident that in other states they've been able to make it work reasonably well. As you alluded to, that it's never perfect.
Yeah.
But the key is obviously, isn't it, is funding source. You've got to have good funding from somewhere. That's critical for fish stocking, all the other things that are really important to provide the best rec fishing opportunities.
Yeah, and do you personally think that the licence idea is the best way to get that funding?
I don't think we're ready to go down that path as yet.
Yeah.
Until we get total clarity around how it's managed. My personal belief is you'd need an independent body that allocates out the funds as they come in.
Yeah.
Excellent, Barry. Thank you very much for your insights, Deb. Now, before we do leave you, what's your fishing plans in the horizon?
Well, trying to organise a visit over to the West Coast at the moment.
Yep.
Excellent.
During summer, we often go to Fowler's Bay, which is past Ceduna.
Yeah, beautiful.
And we're thinking of doing a West Coast trip in May because we missed out early this year because of COVID and all the other things that went on.
Yeah.
So that's the next one on the horizon. And I'm waiting for the Coorong to turn back into blue water instead of brown fresh water so I can get the boat out.
No.
So they're the short-term plans.
What's the long-term plan?
Just more fishing around the state, basically.
Yes, fair enough.
And toying with the idea of trying to do a trip up to Northern Territory as well.
Beautiful.
Good. That's a long-term plan for all of us, isn't it? More fishing.
Yeah, exactly.
Less work, more fishing.
That's it. Yeah, spot on. Let me know how I make that happen.
Yeah, we're still looking too. All right, Barry. Well, thanks a lot for joining us tonight and giving a bit of your own background on your fishing and talking to us about RecFish. Certainly, it sounds like there's a lot of unknowns at the moment with the obviously the new government. So we'll keep a close ear to the ground and look forward to hearing where you guys end up.
Yeah, look, we're really excited about where we're at the moment. I mean, it's an opportunity for RecFish to really sort of surge forward again and take a very strong role. With no funding for the last 4 years, it's been difficult for the board to achieve a lot. And now, great chance to reinvigorate and bore on. We're going to do a fishing forum shortly, whereby we'll be inviting everybody to come along. We'll get some guest speakers, and we'll be looking for feedback from the general community. We're also looking at a way that we can do a survey through tackle shops as well, because we really want rec fishers to have a voice and be able to tell us what they see as the priorities.
Yeah, beautiful, Barry. Well, that's good to hear that you're getting plenty of background and plenty of information out of what people want. And good to take that straight to the government. So we're glad that's all going ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right, Barry. Thanks a lot for your time. Thanks for coming on. And we look forward to hearing from you in the future.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Barry. Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Brody, great to chat with Barry.
Yes, Diz. That was informative.
Some good insights.
Yeah, and it's an interesting time for RecFish SA, isn't it? I know he couldn't give away too much information, and we do understand that. But, you think they're only becoming a more powerful organisation as time goes on.
Yes, and, very interesting that he made comment a few times about the board being very pleased with the direction that things are heading. So I think it's a real matter of watch this space, Brody.
Yeah, no, Diz, I agree. I think good on them. But let's hope that they can make a bit more of an impact than the MRFAC did.
Yep.
Not through any fault of the MRFAC's own. There was, things against them.
Very multifaceted.
Yeah, it is. Diz.
Yes. Right, let's get stuck into the report because we were fortunate enough to head over to Yorke's last weekend, and as we alluded to earlier, got some marks. We probably won't disclose how those marks fell into our laps, but they fell into our laps, and Stansbury just delivered the goods on some actually really good size whiting.
Yeah, so we did this. We got the bag down Sherritt Way out of Black Point on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Smaller fish.
Yeah, definitely.
But
noticeably.
Still happy to get the feed.
Yeah.
Did cover a few miles again.
Yeah, we did. We had to work for him that day.
And what I will say is, we have spoken to a few people over on Yorke's about how many trumpeters have been around in the summer months. And they're still there.
Yeah.
There are heaps of trumpeters.
Yeah, there were lots of trumpeters, actually.
Red mullet, slimy mackerel.
Yeah, I did get a few slimies.
We did have a real mixed bag, Diz.
We did. We certainly did.
And I suppose that's why we almost got ourselves into trouble with the cockles.
Yeah, we did.
Because you expect you've bought out enough cockles to get the bag, but you don't plan on catching 750 bloody trumpeters.
Yeah, it's a real dilemma when that sort of thing happens.
So we moved around a bit around, Sherritt, there's a lot of broken bottom down there, a lot of different spots. So we did jump around a bit. Anyway, got onto them. Happy with that. Smaller fish, but still good eating.
Yeah.
And that was all done and dusted fairly quickly Saturday morning. So we had the rest of the day to enjoy.
It's a bit of a strike mission, that one.
Did get a few crabs in the afternoon, just enough for a feed.
Yeah, got the kids out on the boat. That was a good time.
Yeah, took the babies. How old are they, Diz? Little 6 weeks, I mean.
Yeah, well...
How old's Ned?
Ned's about
5 weeks old than that.
10 weeks, 11 weeks, something
so we're
like
not
that.
doing too bad getting them out fishing at 6 and 10 weeks.
Not too bad. Basically had Ned doing duck dives after we went out on the boat. He was loving the water for once.
So, Diz, that was Saturday. And then Sunday we took the boat out Saturday night. Had it all ready to go first thing Sunday morning down to Stansbury.
Bang.
And then we're into the big ones. And that was a quick bag, wasn't it?
It was a quick bag. We weren't expecting that, to be honest, because as we said earlier, a bit of uncharted territory and just something to keep us busy and cover a bit more ground.
And keeping in mind there was a little bit of travel involved, we still had the bag and done and dusted by 9:30, so pretty good going.
Yeah, no, it was.
And bigger fish too.
Early start, but good to get the bag there, and then away we went.
So yes, Diz, summary of that is the shitties are still around from summer, but the tuna are moving in and seem to be getting bigger. Yes. So if you are heading over that way for Easter, well worth a crack.
Yes, and I think by tuna, everybody wrote he actually meant whiting.
What did I say?
Tuna.
Whiting. Not tuna. No tuna.
Mind you, if you're fishing off Grange at the right time of year, you might get some tuna.
No tuna, yes, whiting.
But it does lead into our next story, Rhodey, about no tuna off Victor, because you did tell us about a bit of a strike mission you had to just sort of see whether there was any sort of late season little jumpy boys floating around.
Yeah, look, there's certainly mixed reports that there are some tuna somewhere. I know Stu was out on the charter boat the few days before, and they got the bag, but he did say it took them all day, and they ended up down somewhere around KI. So they're there somewhere, but they're not thick. We didn't get any fish, trawled around for a couple of hours. No good. So as I said, I'm calling tuna season done and dusted for the All the Gear But No Idea team.
Yeah. Okay.
Interestingly though, Diz, what happens when we got back to the boat ramp?
Well, you were met with some authorities.
Yeah, so marine safety waiting on the pontoon. Obviously nothing against those blokes. They're very friendly. They did a quick safety check. We passed with flying colours, which was good.
Yep.
So I had a bit of a yarn with them.
Well, we take our safety seriously, as should everybody else who's out in the water, especially those waters.
I was showing off our new radio, Diz.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks to Lee's Marine.
Well done, Lee's Marine. Good call.
So anyway, did that, then pulled up into the rigging bays and put the straps on, etc., etc. What happens next? Fisheries pull up.
Double whammy.
So I had the two of them within about 10 minutes.
Oh, did fisheries just look at our sign and go, oh, we don't need to worry about these?
I just said to them, mate, if you find a fish on this boat, you're doing well. And they said, oh, we won't even bother trying then. We know you blokes, we know you don't get anything.
Fair enough.
But anyway, good to see them out and about.
Yeah, just
keeping people honest.
Interesting, like, have you seen fisheries in the peak?
It's a no for me.
Don't you think you'd rather see them there summer holidays where people are possibly doing the wrong thing?
I did say this, but I think it's just too chaotic on some of those weekends over summer, and they just say it's all a bit much.
I understand that.
But the fisheries bloke, we were just having a bit of chat with him, and he did say he was heading down to Goolwa next.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, he'll cash in at Goolwa. Geez, there'd be some dodgy bastards taking cockles.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so he's gone down the beach.
Yeah, he's going driving on the beach, and he's going to go nab some cocklers. And you do see a bit of an Allen's all sorts going on down there, so that wouldn't surprise me if they picked up.
That's basically just revenue raising, though. That's easy money.
That's easy pickings for them, isn't it?
Right, everybody. Our great friend Huey Sangster has many emissions. In fact, Hugh was present on our first inaugural tuna catching on our old boat.
Yes, over on KI.
Very enthusiastic fisherman, and very much look forward to him being back in the great state of South Australia. And he has been out doing some fishing while he makes his way back from New South Wales. He headed up to the Daly River in the Northern Territory. We won't cover too much about that because this isn't All the Gear Northern Territory edition at South Australia, but he managed to get across the Thistle. Right?
Yes, it is.
A lovely island.
And, obviously.
Off the coast of Port Lincoln.
Yep.
Got some friends over there.
Yep.
And they cleaned up on tingers.
They did. They had a good bag of good-sized fish, Diz.
Yeah.
Good-sized whiting, and I think they're only in quite a small tinny, so they weren't heading too far offshore.
You can't imagine they get too much fishing pressure over there.
No, I'd agree with that. And the other thing that we will add to that is I think they got a little crayfish, but they were getting into the crayfish.
Okay. Dive? Pots?
Pots, I believe.
Yeah, right.
And I did see... what did I say? They got some salmon for bait, bits and pieces.
Oh, yeah.
But I suppose the other part to this story is they were obviously on Thistle at the time. Phone reception, I don't think is great.
Yes.
So I think what we got is like the midway report.
Yeah. We've got a bit of a snapshot.
So I think Hugh's probably almost back on the mainland, and we will get an up-to-date second half of the trip wrap.
He's probably chomping at the bit to tell us what's been going on.
So anyway, I'm sure once he gets a bit of phone reception, he'll hit us up. He'll tell us what's going on over at Thistle, and not that we're going to have a whole lot of people, listeners that are over there at the moment, but you never know.
Yes, no, absolutely. I agree. Rody, the barrels have been firing.
They have, Diz. Port Fairy.
Yeah.
Went nuts, they reckon, about a week ago.
Okay, lots of big ones.
Yeah, lots of good-sized fish and plenty of boats getting around, Diz. So, I know it is a bit of a trek from Adelaide, but it's not unrealistic to head over to Port Fairy. And that's something that a friend of ours, Matty Allen's been pushing.
Yeah, well, he loves it, doesn't he?
I'm not sure he loves the fishing side of things, but I think...
Love Port Fairy.
I think he quite likes the pub, maybe some of the sights and surrounds. But he's been talking up a trip there. And
yes.
I know that was about a week ago, and then there has been a few pictures popping up on Facebook around Port Mac. I think Port Mac Charter's got one.
Yeah, Extreme Charters.
And I think Extreme Marine or Extreme Charters, whatever it was, that mob we went out with a couple of years ago.
Yeah. He got onto some big ones.
And I think a few too.
Yeah. So
that's only the last couple of days. So we'd say barrel season's on.
Yeah.
It's now about picking the weather.
Yes, it is.
And keeping your ear to the ground on when they're biting.
Absolutely, Roddy. It is, and that's definitely on the bucket list, that trip. So we'll get that done.
We'll try it. We would like to get down there this year, but
we'll get that done, I reckon.
We're going to have to pull in a few favours in terms of looking after these babies.
Yeah, absolutely. Just one thing while we are on the fishing report, Roddy, it popped up in my memories today on my phone.
Yeah.
It's basically been 2 years since we cleaned up on those big flatties on some of those points round on those sheet marks where we occasionally fish.
Yeah, the flatty hole.
2 years.
That's gone quick, mate. That was in the old boat, I reckon.
It was definitely in the old boat.
Yeah. That was a twilight session that night. That was good.
But a couple of good photos there of some big, good flat.
Was that on the Facebook memories or the photo memories?
Nah, just on my iPhone memories.
Yeah, how good are they?
Yeah,
I love seeing what you did the year before.
They bring up a couple
back
of
some
good ones.
Bit of reminiscing.
Yeah, they do. Ready, good report.
Yeah, it is. There's a bit happening in there. It's a good time of year for fishing.
There, which is,
and with the public holidays coming up, hopefully everyone's getting into them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you are, make sure you hit us up.
Yes, no, definitely do that. Roddy, let's get on to our tackle item of the week.
Yep.
Because this is an interesting one that you've been sort of pondering over the last fortnight.
Yeah, well, look, Diz, when we cleaned the boat over at your parents' place over the weekend, I think we both came to the conclusion that bucket of cleaning equipment in our boat was a bit of a rabble.
Yeah.
There were some fairly rock-hard towels that have had a fair bit of wear to them.
Yeah.
There was a big tangled mess of a hose, and there was a sprayer bottle that didn't work. So I've taken one step in the right direction, and I've bought us a hose reel, a little portable 15-metre hose reel, Diz, a Holman special from Bunnings.
Beautiful.
About $30. So I'm starting to chip away at organising our cleaning gear, Diz.
Yes, yeah. One thing we did also talk about was just organising ourselves a little bit better for... We'll get a fish cleaning station over there, but just having a couple of chopping boards.
I've also thrown them into the boat, ready to put away.
It's just a good idea because you never know when you might be camping in the boat and you're just not quite, you're out in the sticks and you just need something to knock a few fillets off.
I'm also going to get in the habit of making sure I bring my good knife.
Okay.
Because I was using that old crappy one, and geez, that made a big difference.
Yeah. Good quality equipment does make all the
But,
difference.
when you do go, KI, Streaky Bay, some of these places, it is worth having a good, cleaning box with a hose.
Yep.
So you can wash down the boat, wash down the brakes, and you just can't expect all these places to have all that sort of gear, Diz.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
So your earmuffs to clean the motor, just, you don't have to have the pressure washer and everything that opens and shuts.
Yeah,
just a good hose, a bit of fresh water, and it makes all the difference in boat maintenance, Diz.
It does, absolutely. Excellent, Roddy. Where can you find this episode once we load her up?
Look, Diz, we will share the links on the Facebook and the Instagram.
Yep.
And that is where you can find us. If you've got any, words of wisdom to share with us, any fishing photos, anything to add to the report, or
and
if you are,
this is the type of episode you want to listen to on your way down to an Easter escape.
Yeah, look, Diz, I'd be putting it on repeat. I'd be listening to it twice.
Yeah,
and then I'd be working back through the back catalogue just to really get your fix.
So true.
And the other thing that I've heard of people getting into podcasts when they're in COVID lockdown.
Oh, well, geez, there'll be plenty of them.
So I reckon just go through the whole 55 episodes, start to finish.
Yeah, well, we did meet a few people at the showcase who said they were going to work their way back from episode 1, so...
If you are listening to this and you have worked your way through 1 through 55 since the showcase...
Yeah.
Good on you.
Maybe shout out, and if you can prove it, we might send you a hat.
Oh, we will. I'll make sure of it.
No, good going, Roddy. Good to catch up with you, mate.
Yes, and that was a good episode, Tiz.
Yeah,
thanks to Barry Brown for coming on from RecFish SA.
Yeah, good to chat with Barry. Good to catch up on all the latest. And, yeah, really just looking forward to Easter now.
Enjoy your fishing, guys. Speak to you later.
Cheers, guys.
Rhodey and Diz hope you enjoyed today's episode of All the Gear But No Idea. Keep up to date by liking and sharing us on Facebook and Instagram. And you can subscribe on all the major podcast platforms. Until next time, good luck fishing.